everyone. Welcome back to the Raising Rices podcast. I am so excited to be continuing on our series called More Than Virtue, and we are actually at episode 8 in this series. I am your host, Marissa Rice, and today we are exploring a powerful verse that shows the capability, discernment, and fruitfulness of a godly woman. Let's dive in. Proverbs 31:16 says, "She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands, she plants a vineyard." This verse is packed with wisdom, not only for homemaking, but for stewardship, decision-making, and long-term faithfulness. So let's walk through what this means for us as Christian women today. Let's read the verse again. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands, she plants a vineyard. This verse might surprise some people. It shows a woman who is business-minded, discerning, capable, and future-oriented. This is not a small task. This is not an impulsive purchase. This is a thoughtful investment. Maybe you've made decisions like this for your own home, right? Like starting a garden. That is a long-term project. Raising livestock, launching a homeschool curriculum, starting a side business, learning a skill that will bless your household, or preparing something that took time, effort, and planning. This verse honors that kind of work. So we are going to look at discernment before action. The verse begins with, she considers a field. She does not rush. She does not leap. Not impulsively, she stops and she thinks and she evaluates. She uses wisdom before she uses her resources. And this is opposite of like our cultural impulsiveness. This is the opposite of laziness. And this is the opposite of carelessness. This is biblical discernment. So let's look at a few related scriptures that we see. Proverbs 14:8, the wisdom of the prudent is to discern his ways. James 1:5, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God. Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord and he will make your paths. This is a picture of a woman who is not fragile. She is prudent. She is wise and responsible. Biblical femininity includes discernment and decision-making, not an independent rebellion, but thoughtful, like thoughtful stewardship under God's authority and within her home. Let's move to looking at fruitful work that multiplies. And then we see in the second half, it says, and buys it. With the fruit of her hands, she plants a vineyard. She doesn't simply consume, she produces. She doesn't only gather, she is literally growing a vineyard. She doesn't just think about it today, she prepares for it for tomorrow. A vineyard is an extremely long-term investment. It takes patience, work, and care. But eventually it multiplies. It bears fruit that can nourish and sustain a household for generations. This is so countercultural in a world that wants instant everything. So let's ask yourself, what vineyard am I planting that will take time to grow? Or where have I seen God multiply faithful work in my life? Your vineyard might be homeschooling. It might be a marriage investment, your children's discipleship, homemaking rhythms, your farm, a ministry, writing and teaching, home education, resources, hospitality, a business, a long-term budgeting, maybe your family culture or spiritual formation. It may not look glamorous today, but it will bear fruit in time. So let's now move into culture versus kingdom. Let this contrast of culture versus kingdom, let's contrast it with what the world tells women, okay? Hustle, get yourself, don't wait, or your work only matters if you're paid, or your value is in your independence. But this woman This woman we see works for the flourishing of her home in the Proverbs 31. Not for applause, not for personal gain, not for status. Her creativity, her strength, they are not competitive. They are complementary to her household. Right? She is not fighting against her husband. She is working with him. She is not only contributing to the family economy, but also the community around her. This is a picture of a family team that we talk about constantly here on the Raising Races podcast. Her diligence blesses everyone under her roof and extends out. So let's look at how feminine initiative equals biblical strength. I know sometimes femininity and strength don't seem like they go hand in hand, but let's just say it clearly that this woman is not passive. She is not timid. She is not incompetent, and she's not waiting around for someone else to do the work for her. She takes initiative under her husband's guidance, yes, but it is godly initiative, right? It is wisdom filled. It is purposeful. It is rooted in the needs and calling of her home. Her strength is under God's ultimate authority, and her initiative is used for blessing. Her decisions serve her family, and this beautiful biblical strength is what we see in this Proverbs 31 woman. So here's some encouragements to the wives listening. Let me encourage you, you don't need a paycheck to be productive. You don't need a job title to steward well. You don't need approval from the culture to plant a vineyard. The vineyard you're tending to today, whether visible or unseen, will bear fruit in time. Your work, your planning, your diligence, your wisdom, your unseen contributions, they all matter. Whether you are, again, homeschooling, budgeting, training children, managing meals, or gardening, or canning and preserving, milking goats before sunrise, crafting a family mission, starting a business, building something slowly over time. Do it all unto the Lord because He sees. All right, it's time for those reflection questions. So as you go through your week, consider these things. Do I thoughtfully consider decisions, or do I jump in too quickly? Where am I planting for the future? What vineyard requires patience and preservation right now? Perseverance. How can I model discernment for my children? Let these questions really shape your prayers, shape your rhythms of this week, and encourage your heart. So as we close, please be reminded that you are not just a homemaker. You are a wise steward. You are a cultivator. You are a builder. You are a planter. You are a producer. You are a woman of discernment, and this verse is not ultimately about real estate. It is about purpose and fruitfulness and legacy. You can be both gentle and strong. You can be both thoughtful and active because Christ empowers both. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If this encouraged you, would you please subscribe, share it with a friend, and if you so desire, grab More Than Virtue on Amazon. Visit raisingraces.com if you would like for more help and biblical encouragement in your home. And until next time, discern with wisdom, work with diligence, and plant with vision for the generation to come. See you next time.